Good day, my dear student friends. In this video session, let us learn how to carry out the analysis on beams using finite element method to determine the deflection and the slope or rotation in the beams. First of all, let us discuss what do you mean by beams. Already you know the beams are structural members subjected to transverse loads, lateral loads, so that the beams undergo bending. Beams are acted upon by different types of loads: the point load, uniformly distributed load, uniformly varying load, and externally applied moments. And the different types of supports are provided to resist the motion of the beam. Fixed support. In the fixed support, if you observe across the fixed support, the deflection is 0 and the slope or rotation is 0. Simple support, if you consider simple support, across the simple support deflection is 0 and rotation or slope is not equal to 0, because simple supports will allow the beams to rotate. In roller support also will allow the beams to rotate, hence rotation is not 0. In case of roller support, deflection is equal to 0. Next come to the hinged or pinned support. In hinged or pinned support, if you take, in this hinged or pinned support will allow the beams to rotate, hence rotation or slope is not 0, deflection will become 0. Okay. Now next come to the finite element analysis of beams. In finite element analysis of beams, let us consider a single element of a beam. We should know the stiffness matrix for a beam element. For that, what is the characteristic of the beam element? Let us discuss. The beams are subjected to transverse loads. Here, due to these transverse loads, let us consider a single element of a beam having two nodes 1 to 2, as I shown here. At each node of the beam element, there are 2 degrees of freedom, that is, there are two unknowns. One is V is the deflection at node 1 and theta is the rotation or slope at node 1. That means each node of the beam element, due to the transverse loads, these nodes are permitted to displace in deflect in y direction, as well as they are permitted to rotate in radians. Okay, at each node there are 2 degrees of freedom, and also let E be the Young's modulus of the material of the element, I is the moment of inertia of the cross section of the element of beam, and LE be the length of the element. Then we will discuss now what is the stiffness matrix for a beam element. Okay, at each node of the beam element there are 2 degrees of freedom, that is 2 unknowns at each node. That already I have I wrote here, you just go through it. Deflection in meters or mm and slope or rotation in radians at each node. Hence at each node there are 2 unknowns or 2 degrees of freedom. Then for a single element of a beam there are 2 nodes, therefore there are total of 4 degrees of freedom. Hence order or size of the element stiffness matrix will be 4 cross 4. And the stiffness matrix for the beam element is given by this formula: EI by LE cube outside, where E is the Young's modulus of the material of the element, I is the moment of inertia of the cross section, LE is the length of the element. And inside the matrix there are 16 terms, which contain some of the terms, they contain LE. LE means length of the element. Whatever the length of the element in the problem, if it is given, you just substitute the value of LE and get all the terms inside the stiffness matrix. Okay. If moment of inertia is directly mentioned in the problem, you just substitute into the formula for stiffness matrix. If it is not mentioned, then cross section has to be given. If a rectangular cross section of width B and height h is given, then moment of inertia has to be calculated by using the formula BH cube by 12. That already you know. That is for rectangular cross section, I is BH cube by 12. Next, if circular cross section of diameter D is given, then moment of inertia is given by pi d raised to 4 by 64. By using this formula, you can calculate the moment of inertia for different cross sections, and after that you substitute in the stiffness matrix formula. Okay. Now this is what the 4 cross 4 matrix. For individual elements you need to refer this formula to determine the stiffness matrix. Now proceed to the next page. Here I have considered the problem on beam so that you will understand better. And now determine the deflection and slope for the beam shown in figure. It is asked. Now in this beam, let us discretize this particular beam. I will discretize this into three elements because I will locate the node 1 here, and I will locate the node 2 where the UDL ends. I will locate the node 3 at the point of application of load 50 kilonewton, and I will locate the node 4 at the end. How many elements you have now? 1 to 2 element number 1, 2 to 3 element number 2, and nodes 3 to 4 element number 3. Okay, now this is the finite element model. We have node number 1, node number 2, 3, 4 and element number 1, 2, 3 which have been encircled. Okay, now each element length that is already given 2 meter, second element is 1 meter length, and third element is 1 meter length. Okay, now the given data is Young's modulus given is 200 GPa. That means the entire beam is made up of same material. That is for all the elements Young's modulus is same, that is 200 GPa, and moment of inertia of the cross section for this first element is different, and second and third element, that is I2, that is same, that is different, I2. Okay, now we'll proceed to, first of all, once you prepare the finite element model, there are three elements we have in the finite element model. Let us generate the stiffness matrices K1, K2 and K3 by using the formula that we have discussed in the previous page. Okay, now this is the formula we have. First you write the formula. After that you just required information you just substitute. Here EI by LE cube, Young's modulus given is 200 GPa, that means 200 into 10 raised to 9, that is gigapascal. Okay, 10 raised to 9, 200 into 10 raised to 9 I have substituted here, that is Newton per meter square, and I will substitute all the data in meters because all the data is given in meters, so no need to convert it into mm. 4 into 10 raised to minus 6 is the first element moment of inertia, I will substitute here, and length of the element for first element is 2 meter, that is 2 cube I will use. Okay, next if you calculate the ratio of this, you will get 10 raised to 5 only. Okay, next 10 raised to 5. Next you calculate separately all this term. 6 LE, we have 2 LE square and 4 LE square. Okay, these terms, 6 times LE means 6 times 2. LE is length of the element is 2, 6 2s are 12. 2 LE square means 2 into 2 square, that is 8. 4 LE square means 4 into bracket 2 square, 4 4s are 16. You will get 4 LE square term 16. Like this you calculate all the values. After that keep the 10 raised to 5 term outside, and inside all these calculated terms you just write. Okay, next page we will move on to. Now here you can observe we have generated the stiffness matrix for element 1, 10 raised to 5 I kept outside, and inside I wrote 12. Here it is 6 LE, 6 LE means 12 you got, that is, and minus 12, here it is 6 LE, 12, this one is 4 LE square, that is 16 we got. Like that all the terms you just write, so that stiffness matrix we got here. And I wrote here DOF numbers for the element 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, because element number 1 having nodes 1 and 1 to 2, at each node there are 2 unknowns. DOF numbers will be, that is 1, 2 for node 1, DOF number 3, 4 for node 2. That means node DOF number 1 indicates the deflection, DOF number 2 indicates rotation at node 1, DOF number 3 indicates deflection at node 2, DOF number 4 indicates rotation at node 2. That's why I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 for element 1. Come to stiffness matrix for element 2. First you find EI by LE cube. Okay, E is Young's modulus is 200 into 10 raised to 9, and but moment of inertia of cross section given for the second and third element is 2 into 10 raised to minus 6. You substitute here, and length of the element is 1, that is 1 cube. If you calculate the ratio of this, you will get 4 into 10 raised to 5. 4 into 10 raised to 5 we got. Okay, but in the first stiffness matrix 10 raised to 5 we kept outside. In the second stiffness matrix for the element, second element, you keep the same common 10 raised to 5 outside. That means 4 has to be multiplied with each and every term of inside. That is, now first 6 LE, 6 times 1, because the length of the element 2 is 1 meter, 6 times 1 is 6, 2 LE square, that is 2 into 1 square, that is 2, 4 LE square, that is 4 into 1 square, it is 4. Okay, now all these terms you just write. So here inside the terms, first term was 12, but I wrote here 48 because it is 4 has to be multiplied with all these 16 terms, because 4 I will take inside. That is 12 4s are 48, and this one 6 times LE, that is 6 we got, that is 6 into 4 24, and this one minus 12 into 4 minus 48. This one is 6 LE, 6 LE we got 6, but it has to be multiplied with 4, 6 4s are 24 we got. Like this, if you take this one 4 LE square, that is 4 LE square is 4, okay, but it has to be multiplied with 4, 4 4s are 16. Like this, all the terms inside the matrix you multiply with by 4, because 4 has we took inside the matrix, because 10 raised to 5 we have to keep the same common outside. Okay, and I wrote the DOF numbers for this matrix 3 4 5 6 3 4 5 6, because if you consider the second element, that is the node numbering 2 to 3, here DOF numbers for node number 2 is given by 3 4, and for node number 3 is 5 6 DOF numbers. DOF number 3 indicates the deflection at node 2, DOF number 4 indicates rotation at node 2, DOF number 5 indicates deflection at node 3, and DOF number 6 indicates rotation or slope at node 3. That's why it is to be written here. That's why the DOF number has to have to be written 3 4 5 6 3 4 5 6. Okay, now we will want to move on to the next page. We will generate the stiffness matrix for element 3. Okay, now first you calculate for element 3 EI by LE cube. Young's modulus is 200 into 10 raised to 9 Newton per meter square. Okay, the given value. But moment of inertia for the element 3 is same as element 2, 2 into 10 raised to minus 6, and 1 cube I wrote LE cube. LE is length of the element 3 is also 1 meter only, 1 cube. If you calculate the ratio, then we will get same as element 2. For element 3, this ratio is 4 into 10 raised to 5. It is same as element 2 value. Okay, now 4 into 10 raised to 5, I will keep 10 raised to 5 the same common as in element 2 and element 1 we took same common outside, and inside you should 4, this term 4 you have to take it inside. That means all these 16 terms have to be multiplied by 4. These are all the terms which are already multiplied by 4. The value, since the length of the element is 1 meter, the element 3 stiffness matrix is equal to element 2, because element 2 and element 3 are having the same properties. Length of the element is same, Young's modulus is same, and moment of inertia is same. Hence you will get K2 and K3 same. I wrote the same K3 here, and say same this one K3 stiffness matrix for element 3, it is same as element 2. Okay, now I wrote here 5 6 7 8 5 6 7 8 DOF numbers, because if you consider the element number 3 having nodes 3 to 4, then at node number 3 the DOF numbers will be 5 6 and 4. At node number 4 DOF numbers will be 7 8, because at each node 2 DOFs. Okay, here one is deflection and one is rotation. 5 is the DOF number 5 is the deflection at node 3, DOF 6 is rotation at node 3, DOF 7 deflection at node 4, DOF 8 rotation at node 4. That's why I wrote here 5 6 7 8 5 6 7 8. Okay, now since there are 4 nodes in our finite element model we have generated for the given problem, there are 4 nodes. At each node there are 2 unknowns, 2 DOFs, that is deflection and rotation at each node. Then totally 4 nodes, total number of unknowns will be 4 into 2, that is 8 unknowns we will get. Then what would be the order of the stiffness matrix? Size of this global stiffness matrix will be 8 cross 8. Then what you do, you just generate a grid of 8 cross 8 like this. That means you generate 8 rows and 8 columns. Okay, like this. That is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. You just number and you just go for numbering 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 column numbers and row numbers. This is what the stiffness matrix of the order 8 cross 8. Now the stiffness matrix for element 1 K1. Stiffness matrix for element 1 K1 is order, that is 4 cross 4, and okay, all the stiffness this one, the DOF numbers I wrote 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 for K1. For K2, okay, for K1 the 16 terms we got, the DOF numbers are 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. These terms, wait, I will show it to you. Okay, K1, okay, K1, these terms 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, all these terms have to be transferred to the global stiffness matrix grid line. Next K2 3 4 5 6 3 4 5 3 3 4 5 6, these numbers have to be transferred to the global stiffness matrix grids. Okay, now next element number 3, these values 5 6 7 8 5 6 7 8, these values have to be transferred to this grid. How it is? Now you know how to assemble the matrices. Here I have shown 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Here I wrote the stiffness matrix for element 1. Those 16 terms I wrote here. Okay, I wrote like this. Next 3 4 5 6 3 4 5 6, it will come under this green. I have shown green border. Within the green border, that is 3 4 5 6 3 4 5 6, that these are the element 2 terms. Here you can observe these 4 terms are going to be common, which are available in both the elements element 1 and element 2. That's why you will get two terms here. That is, first term is K1 term here 12 and second term is 48. That is K2 term. Here minus 12 is the K1 term and K2 term is plus 24. Like that you can observe 3 4 5 6 3 4 5 6, you just transfer. And next come to the 5 6 7 8, these terms have to be transferred into this. Here I have shown the brown color border. Here also you can observe these are the 4 terms which are available in both the matrices, that is element 2 and element 3, K2 and K3. Okay, once you generate this global stiffness matrix, once you write all the terms in these boxes, 3 boxes 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 3 4 5 6 3 4 5 6 and 5 6 7 8 5 6 7 8, once you write, then remaining blank boxes you just write zeros, you just write 0. Okay, remaining blank boxes you just write 0. And next, once you get this global stiffness matrix of the order 8 cross 8, next come to the global load vector. Here you can observe global load vector, how it has to be found out. Since the first element in the problem given, the first element is subjected to UDL of 24 kilonewton per meter, the first element. Okay, now that means here in the load vector, what you should write, for each node you should write applied moment, applied force and applied moment, like this. At each node there are two knowns, like 2 unknowns, that is the deflection and rotation. Here also in the load vector you should write at each node applied force and the applied moment. Now if the element is subjected to UDL like this, then the formula to determine the load vector for the element subjected to UDL is given by minus PLE by 2 minus PLE square by 12 minus PLE by 2 plus PLE square by 12. First 3 components are negative, last component is positive because it is a downward UDL. If it is upward UDL, you just first 3 component you take positive and fourth component you take negative. Usually the UDL is going to be downward only. Now next you can observe here the minus PLE by 2 I have calculated separately. 24 kilonewton per meter, that is the value of the UDL for the first element. It is given in Newton. If you take 24 into 10 raised to 3, it will become 24 into 10 raised to 3 Newton per mm. Now here I will substitute UDL P value, that is minus 24 into 10 raised to 3 into length of the first element is 2 meters divided by 2. If you calculate the ratio of PLE by 2, this one, you will get minus 24,000. Here I wrote minus 24,000. Next, PLE square by 12, if you calculate, P is 24 into 10 raised to 3, that is the UDL, into LE square is 2 square divided by 12. Okay, if you calculate this ratio, you will get 8,000 Newton meter, because this is the moment value. Now, PLE square by 12, that is 8,000, minus PLE square by 12 minus 8,000. Next, minus PLE by 2. PLE by 2 is 24,000, we got minus 24,000. Next again plus PLE square by 12, I will write here plus 8,000. Like this, whenever the element of a beam is subjected to UDL, you should use this formula for the UDL component, minus PL by 2 minus PL square by 12 minus PL by 2 and plus PL square by 12. These are the four component of forces for a single element having two nodes 1 to 2. Okay. Next, now for the first element, we have calculated the load vector. Since there are 4 nodes at each node, since there are 4 nodes 1, 2, 3, 4, at each node we should write the values of force and moment. Here I wrote, you can observe F1 M1 is nothing but applied force and applied moment at node 1. F2 M2 is applied force and applied moment at node 2. Okay, F3 M3 applied force and applied moment at node 3. F4 M4 applied force and applied moment at node 4. F1 M1 F2 M2 I wrote the value by using the formula, because this node number 1 and node number 2, okay, this up node number 1 to node number 2 is subjected to UDL, hence I wrote F1 M1 F2 M2 the values by using the formula. Okay, next come to F3. F3 is 1, okay, here you can observe, if you consider now 2 to 3, that is element 2. Here element 2 is there up to node number 2, up to node number 2 we wrote force at node 2 and moment at node 2, that is the UDL. Now come to node number 3. Here you can observe, wait, I will tell you. Here you can observe the node number 2, node number 3, node number 4. Okay, the first element is subjected to UDL. Okay, I wrote 1 to these values, F1 M1 F2 M2. Next come to at node 3 there is a point load downward force of 50 kilonewton. It is given in the problem. Okay, now force moment we should write at node 3 now. At node 3 force is 50,000 Newton in the downward direction. That I wrote force F3 at node 3, that is applied force at node 3, there is applied force at node 3 in the downward direction. I wrote negative. Downward point load is taken as negative in the problems on beams, that you should remember. Upward force is taken as positive. Minus 15 to 10 raised to 3 I wrote. Next, is there any applied moment at node 3? It is not given, then simply you write M3 as 0. Is there any applied force at node 4? No, it is 0. There is a fixed support here, it is given. Applied force is not given, 0. Is there any applied moment? No, there is no applied moment, you just put it as 0. Likewise, you need to generate the load vector, global load vector for the entire beams structure. Okay, you can observe here this, you can go through the sketch of the problem. See here. Here you can observe, here it is subjected to UDL first element. That's why I wrote by using the formula F1 M1 F2 M2. Next for node number 3 I wrote F3 value, but M3 value I wrote 0 because there is no applied moment here. Here F4 value there is no applied force and there is no applied moment. Okay, now next come to once you find this, you need to generate the global equilibrium equation now, that is Ku is equal to F. Okay, now Ku is equal to F. Now in the global equilibrium equation, write the global stiffness matrix, that is the global stiffness matrix we have found here. This global stiffness matrix you write, and U matrix you write. What is the U matrix you will get? What is the U matrix you will get? Okay, once you write the global stiffness matrix, then write the global stiffness matrix, then that K into U matrix, how do you write? Since there are 4 nodes, at each node 2 unknowns, then you should write U1, U2, U3, U4, U5, U6, U7 and U8. At each node 2 unknowns. This U1 and U2 are the deflection and rotation at node 1, U3, U4 deflection and rotation at node 2, U5, U6 deflection and rotation at node 3, U7, U8 deflection and rotation at node 4. Okay, like this. So global stiffness matrix is order 8 cross 8 and 8 unknowns you should write, and after that is equal to, we have 8 component of forces here. Now next we should apply the elimination approach. Okay, since node 1 is having fixed support, in the problem it is given node 1, here node 1 is having fixed support, and also node 2 is provided with roller support, and next node 4 is having fixed support. Okay, now in the problem given node 1 is provided with fixed support, hence deflection is 0 as well as rotation is 0 at node 1. That means U1 is the deflection at node 1, that is 0. U2 is the rotation at node 1, that is also 0. For the fixed support, rotation, deflection both are 0. U1, U2, 0 I will write here. Okay, now a roller support. At node 2 there is a roller support. Okay, deflection for the roller support at node 3, roller support is given. Okay, here this node 3 will not deflect in the y direction, it will not undergo deflection. That's why I wrote U3 is equal to 0. But rotation U4, it may rotate because there is a roller here. It will allow the node to rotate. Okay, U3 is 0. Next come to node 4. Node 4 there is a fixed support. U7 and U8 both are 0 because deflection and rotation both are 0 at the fixed support. That means the boundary conditions given are in the problem U1, U2, U3, U7, U8 are 0. That is U1, U2, U3, U7 and U8 are 0. Okay, and remaining terms are only U4, U5 and U6 have to be calculated, where U4 is the rotation or slope at node 2, U5 is the deflection at node 3 and U6 is the rotation at node 3. These 3 unknowns we need to calculate. In elimination approach, what it says, since the boundary conditions are given, 5 boundary conditions we have, first eliminate first, second, third, 7th and 8th row and column. Then if you eliminate first, second, third and 7th and 8th row and column, if you observe here, first, second, third, 7th, 8th row, next column first, second, third, 7th and then 8th column, remaining will be only these 3 terms. That is, you can observe here only these terms, that is 3 cross 3 matrix, that is 16 plus 16, that is 32 minus 24, next third term 8, next 8 okay, 8, next is 0, next is 32, next sorry, wait, okay. Now here you can observe. Now if you eliminate these terms, first, second, third row, and then 7th and 8th row, first, second, third, 7th and 8th column, what are the values which are remained here? These 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, that is 16 plus 16, 32, this one is minus 24, and this one is 8. Next second row, minus 24, 48 plus 48, 96. Next minus 24 plus 24, 0. Next come to third term, third row, 8, 0, 32. Okay, 10 raised to 5 outside. These are the remained 3 equations you need to calculate. That already I have shown here. You can observe. See here. These are the after elimination. We will get, you can observe here, 32 minus 24, 8 I wrote here, minus 24, 96, 0 I wrote, 8, 0, 32 I wrote. Okay. Now remaining 3 equations, that is u4, u5, u6 you need to solve for, and is equal to, here I wrote, after elimination of first, second, third and 7th, 8th terms, then we will get those values. What are those? You can see here, first, second, third, next 7th and 8th rows. If you eliminate, remaining are plus 8,000, minus 50,000, 0. You can observe here in the next page, here what I wrote, plus 8,000, minus 50,000, 0. The same. Okay. These 3 equations only have to be solved to determine u4, u5, u6. Solving above 3 equations, we will get rotation at node 2, that is u4 is equal to minus 0.0018 radians. Deflection at node 3, that is u5 is the deflection at node 3, is equal to minus 0.00567 meters. And rotation at node 3, that is u6, that is plus 0.00047 radians. This is how you need to solve the problems on beams to determine the deflection and the slope or rotation at each node. Okay, I hope you have understood. And one more problem we will consider now. One more problem here. In this problem, just we will discuss, okay, how do you solve this particular problem to determine the deflection and rotation? How many elements we need to consider? Here I will locate node number 1. Here I will locate node number 2, where there is a load applied, and node number 3. Then how many elements? 2 elements and 3 nodes. That is 2 elements and 3 nodes I will consider. Okay. And here boundary conditions are, first you need to generate the stiffness matrices for both the elements by using that formula, by adopting the procedure which we have just now discussed in the previous pages. By using that procedure, you just calculate the stiffness matrix for element 1, K1 and K2 by substituting the values of moment of inertia, Young's modulus, whichever is given the value. Here it is I1 for element 1, I2 for element 2, those values are given, and Young's modulus is given, and length of the element for element 1 is 2 meter, for element 2 is 1 meter. You just substitute and get the values of K1 and K2, order 4 cross 4. Next, global equilibrium equation, you write Ku is equal to F. Global stiffness matrix order will be, since there are 3 nodes, at each node 2 unknowns, then you will get 6 cross 6 global stiffness matrix, and 6 unknowns u1, u2, u3, u4, u5, u6. u1, u2 is the deflection at deflection and rotation at node 1. u3, u4 is the deflection and rotation at node 2. u5, u6 is the deflection and rotation at node 3. Is equal to F1, M1, F2, M2, F3, M3. If you write the load vector F1, M1, F2, M2, F3, M3, That means applied force at node 1. Is there any applied force at node 1? No. You write 0. Is there any applied moment at node 1? No. Write 0. Now come to F2. Is there any applied force at node 2? Yes. There is applied force at node 2, that is in the downward direction, that is 1 kilonewton. Downward point load is to be taken as negative, then I will write minus 1000 Newton. That is minus 1 kilonewton minus 1000. Next, is there any applied moment at node 2? Yes, there is applied moment at node 2. Okay, applied moment at node 2, applied force at node 2 is 1 kilonewton in the downward direction, hence I will write F2, that is applied force at node 2 minus 1000 Newton. Okay, and there is applied moment also at node 2, but in the counterclockwise direction. The applied moment is in anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise direction moment, anti-clockwise couple of moment is taken as positive. Remember, anti-clockwise couple of moment is taken as positive, clockwise couple you take it as negative. Therefore, anti-clockwise couple 2 kilonewton meter it is given. You write moment at node 2, that is M2 value, plus you write 2 kilonewton meter is there. If you are substituting all the values in meters and Newton, then it will become 2000 Newton meter. Okay, and F3 and M3, applied force at node 3 and moment at node 3 will be 0, because there is no applied force and there is no applied moment. Now once you generate the global load vector, after that once you write the global equilibrium equation, you can observe here, see here, first two components of forces are 0, F1 M1 is 0, and F2 M2, applied force is minus 1000 downward force, and moment is plus 2000, that is plus anti-clockwise couple of moment is taken as positive, and 2000 Newton meter, and 5 and 6, that is F3 and M3, applied force at node 3 and applied moment at node 3 0 0 it is given. And after that, if you applying the boundary conditions, if you apply the boundary conditions, here you can observe boundary conditions are in this problem. In this problem, the boundary conditions are node 1 and node 3 is fixed. That means deflection and rotation is 0 at node 1. Okay, and at node 3 deflection and rotation is 0, that is U5 and U6 is 0. Only you need to calculate U3 and U4 at node 2, that is deflection and rotation at node 2. Now we will proceed to calculation. You can observe here, by eliminating the first, since U1 U2 0 and U5 U6 0, eliminate first row, second row, fifth row and sixth row. What remains in the load vector here? Minus 1000 and plus 2000, that is already written here in the global equilibrium equation, and only U3 U4 is left. U1 U2 U5 U6 are 0. Here it is notation, they took Q3 Q4, we took U3 U4, and in the stiffness matrix you will get by eliminating first, second equation, fifth equation and sixth equation, you will get these four terms. By solving these two equations, we will get U3 value as minus 0.000315 meters, that is deflection at node 2. U4 value as plus 0.00074 radians, that is the rotation radians, it is rotation at node 2. This is how we need to solve the problems on beams. Now you have understood, if the applied moment is given, how to solve the problem. I hope you have understood this one. By applying if applied moment is given, how to take it anti-clockwise couple, you take it as positive, and clockwise couple you take it as negative, and load vector you need to write in this manner. Applied force moment at each node, applied force moment at each node, like that. Okay, and now this is how you need to solve the problems on beams. Now I will consider one more problem. This is the question paper problem. Okay, this is the question paper problem. Okay, this is the question paper problem. In VTU question paper 10ME64 code in December 17, January 18, it was asked for 10 marks. Now here this problem was asked like this. This is a cantilever beam subjected to UDL and also point load at its end. Okay, determine the maximum deflection of the cantilever beam with uniform cross section as shown in figure by assuming the beam as a single element. Here it is asked you to assume the beam as a single element. Minimum number of elements required for this beam will be one element only, because there is no discontinuity in this particular beam. There is no discontinuity in cross section. Cross section is same, material is same, and also it is entire beam is subjected to UDL. There is no discontinuity, hence the entire beam can be considered as a single element. Here in the problem also it is mentioned to consider single element. Okay, you may consider two elements also, but it will be time consuming. In the question paper, if it is asked specifically to consider the beam as two elements, then only you should consider this beam in two equal parts and two elements. Okay, but here it is asked you to consider single element. Okay, now I will consider single element having, what is the length of the element it is given, that is the entire length of the beam will be the length of the element 4 meter. Okay, now use the formula, the stiffness matrix for the beam element, you know formula EI by LE cube. Inside all the 16 terms, you know, just you substitute the values. There, what is the Young's modulus is given 77 into 10 raised to 9 Newton per meter square, and what is the moment of inertia 4 into 10 raised to minus 4 meter raised to 4. You just substitute. Okay, substitute 4 into, that is 4 into 10 raised to minus 4. 4 into 10 raised to minus 4 you substitute, and the length of the element given is 4 meter, that is 4 cube you substitute. Okay, then you will get this ratio 43,750.